The Foolish Game. The rooftop lounge of Blue Ridge University buzzed with laughter and chatter as the evening sun cast golden shadows across the privileged faces of those who had never known true struggle. Among them sat Vikram Malhotra, heir to the Malhotra Industries fortune, lounging casually in designer clothes that cost more than what most students spent on a semester's textbooks. "Another round on me," Vikram announced, signaling the bartender with a lazy flick of his wrist. His friends cheered, raising their glasses in appreciation of his seemingly endless generosity, a trait that came easily to someone who had never worked a day in his life. Dhruv Kapoor, Vikram's closest friend since childhood and fellow heir to a business empire, leaned back in his chair, observing the crowd with calculating eyes. "I'm bored, Vic. Final year's supposed to be legendary, but it's been the same faces, same parties." Vikram nodded absently, his attention caught by a young woman sitting alone at a corner table surrounded by books and papers. Unlike the carefully styled women who typically orbited their social circle, she wore simple clothes, her hair tied back in a practical ponytail. Her focus remained entirely on her studies, oblivious to the privileged chaos around her. "Who's that?" Vikram asked, nodding toward her. Dhruv followed his gaze and smirked. "Amara Sharma, scholarship student, top of the class in business economics. Full ride because her family couldn't afford a bus ticket to campus otherwise." "She's different," Vikram mused, watching how she pushed her glasses up her nose without breaking concentration. Dhruv's eyes narrowed mischievously. "Different? She's a nobody trying to be a somebody, not your usual type, Casanova." "Maybe that's what makes her interesting," Vikram replied, still watching her. "Please," Dhruv scoffed. "You wouldn't last a week trying to charm someone like her. She's all about books and ambition. Probably thinks guys like us are everything wrong with the world." Something in Dhruv's dismissive tone sparked Vikram's competitive nature. "You don't think I could get her interested? In you?" Dhruv laughed. "Not a chance. Girls like that don't fall for guys like you. They're too principled." He said the word as if it tasted strange on his tongue. Vikram's pride flared. "I could make her fall for me. I could even marry her if I wanted to." The table fell silent as Dhruv's eyes lit up with dangerous amusement. Now that would be something worth seeing. The great Vikram Malhotra marrying a scholarship girl for sport. "Maybe I will," Vikram said, his voice dropping to a serious tone that surprised even himself. Dhruv leaned forward, lowering his voice. "Let's make it interesting, then. I bet you can't get Amara Sharma to marry you within 6 months. Their other friends exchanged nervous glances, but Vikram didn't notice. His eyes were locked with Dhruv's, his mind already calculating the challenge. "What are the stakes?" Vikram asked. "If you win, I'll give you my vintage car collection. If you lose—" Dhruv paused dramatically. "You donate half your trust fund to charity." Gasps rippled around the table. Half of Vikram's trust fund would be millions. "Deal," Vikram said without hesitation, extending his hand. As they shook on it, Dhruv grinned. "Rules are simple. She has to genuinely believe you love her. The marriage has to be legal, and nobody outside this table can know about the bet." Vikram glanced at Amara again. She was gathering her books now, carefully organizing them in her worn backpack. Something about her methodical movements, her quiet determination, made him feel a twinge of something. He pushed the feeling aside. "Watch and learn," he said confidently. "This will be the easiest bet I've ever won." Little did he know that those words would haunt him for years to come, marking the beginning of a journey that would transform him in ways no one could have predicted, least of all himself. Weaving deceptions. The library's soft lighting cast gentle shadows across Amara's face as she meticulously organized her economics notes. This quiet sanctuary had been her refuge for 3 years, a place where social hierarchies dissolved and only knowledge mattered. Until today. Mind if I join you? Amara looked up to find Vikram Malhotra standing over her table, his designer backpack hanging casually from one shoulder. Her eyes widened with surprise. She'd seen him around campus. Everyone knew the Malhotra air, but they inhabited different universes. There are plenty of empty tables, she replied, gesturing around the nearly vacant library. Vikram smiled, that disarming smile that had charmed countless girls before her. But none with the person who aced Professor Mehra's impossible midterm. Amara's defenses wavered slightly. How did you know about that? Word gets around, he said, sliding into the chair across from her. I'm struggling with his class, and midterms are destroying me. I was hoping you might consider tutoring me. She studied him skeptically. You want me to tutor you? Why not hire some expensive private tutor? Because they don't understand Mehra's teaching style like you do? He leaned forward, his voice softening. Look, I know what you're thinking. Rich kid looking for an easy way out. But I'm trying to prove something to my father, that I can succeed on my own merits. The sincerity in his voice seemed genuine, and Amara's natural inclination to help others surfaced despite her reservations. 2 hours, twice a week, and I charge by the hour. My rates aren't negotiable. Vikram's smile widened. Deal. What began as strictly professional tutoring sessions gradually evolved over the following weeks. Vikram arrived prepared, asked thoughtful questions, and appeared genuinely interested in learning. He brought coffee for their early sessions, remembering exactly how she liked it. Small gestures accumulated, carrying her books, walking her to her next class, listening intently when she spoke about her family's struggles. My parents sacrificed everything for my education, she told him one evening as they walked across campus. My father works double shifts at the factory and my mother teaches at 3 different schools. This degree isn't just for me, it's for them too. Vikram felt an unexpected twist in his stomach. His own parents had never sacrificed anything for him. They'd merely opened their wallets. He pushed the thought away and took her hand instead, focusing on the plan. By the 3rd month, studying had expanded to dinner invitations, museum visits, and long conversations about their dreams. Amara wanted to transform family businesses in rural communities. Vikram claimed he wanted to redirect his family's corporation towards sustainable practices, a fabrication that came disturbingly easily to his lips. You're different from what I expected, Amara admitted one night as they sat beneath the stars on campus grounds. How so? Vikram asked, his arm comfortably around her shoulders. You could be living the stereotypical rich playboy life, but instead, you're genuinely trying to learn, to grow. Her eyes, honest and trusting, met his. It's admirable. Guilt flickered through him, quickly suppressed. Maybe I just needed the right person to show me a different path. That evening, after walking Amara to her dormitory, Vikram met Dhruv at their usual bar. His friend's smug expression immediately irritated him. Making progress with our little scholarship girl? Dhruv asked, signaling for drinks. Her name is Amara, Vikram corrected sharply. And yes, everything's proceeding as planned. Dhruv raised an eyebrow. Defensive, are we? Don't tell me you're actually falling for her. Don't be ridiculous, Vikram scoffed, ignoring the strange discomfort in his chest. I'm just playing the part convincingly. Good, Dhruv nodded, because I've already picked which car I'm keeping. When you lose, I'm not going to lose. 2 months later, beneath the cherry blossoms that lined the university's central pathway, Vikram knelt before Amara with a diamond ring that cost more than her family's home. Her eyes filled with tears as he recited practiced words about love changing him, about wanting to build a future together. It's sudden, I know, he said, his voice steady despite the strange hollowness growing inside him. But some things you just know are right. Amara's family protested. The relationship was too new. She was too young. He was from a different world. But Amara, with all the conviction of first love, believed in the beautiful illusion Vikram had crafted. They married in a small ceremony during spring break. As Amara, radiant in a simple white dress, slipped a ring onto his finger, Vikram caught Dhruv's triumphant smirk from among the guests. The victory felt strangely empty. Later that night, as Dhruv handed over the keys to his prized vintage car collection, he clapped Vikram on the shoulder. "Congratulations," Dhruv chuckled. "You actually did it. So how long before you break the news to your blushing bride?" Vikram watched Amara across the room, laughing with her parents, her face glowing with happiness and hope. For the first time in his privileged life, he felt truly ashamed. "I don't know," he answered quietly, pocketing the keys. "I haven't decided yet, but fate, it seemed, had other plans." The awakening heart-morning light filtered through sheer curtains as Vikram awoke to the unfamiliar sound of someone humming in the kitchen. For a disorienting moment, he forgot where he was. Not in his luxury penthouse, but in the modest two-bedroom apartment he'd rented for his new married life with Amara. The events of the past 6 months crashed over him like a wave. The bet, the pursuit, the wedding. He had won, claimed his prize from Dhruv, and now... what? The original plan had been to enjoy a few weeks of married life before manufacturing a reason to separate. A business opportunity abroad, perhaps, followed by a generous settlement that would silence any questions. Simple, clean, predictable. Yet as he padded into the kitchen and watched Amara preparing breakfast, her hair tied back messily, wearing his university sweatshirt, something stirred within him that defied his careful calculations. "Good morning, husband," she smiled, sliding a cup of coffee toward him, prepared exactly how he liked it. "I made your favorite." The domestic normalcy of the moment struck him with unexpected force. No one had ever bothered learning what he actually liked. They'd simply given him what they thought someone of his status should want. "You didn't have to do all this," he said, guilt churning in his stomach. "I wanted to." She kissed his cheek. "Besides, you should eat well before your meeting with your father today." The meeting, another fabrication. He'd told her he was finally confronting his father about redirecting the family business toward more sustainable practices, something he had no actual intention of doing. "Right." He nodded, sipping his coffee to hide his discomfort. "I believe in you," Amara said earnestly, squeezing his hand. "No matter what happens with your father, we'll figure it out together. There are other ways to make a difference." Hours later, Vikram sat in his father's actual office, having decided, on impulse, to turn his lie into truth. Rajiv Malhotra regarded his son with poorly disguised impatience. "Sustainable business practices?" His father's laugh was dismissive. "What nonsense has that girl been filling your head with? We make money, Vikram. That's our purpose." "Her name is Amara," Vikram corrected, surprised by the edge in his own voice. "And she's my wife." "A temporary inconvenience," his father waved dismissively. "You'll outgrow this phase. Meanwhile, I've arranged for you to take over the Singapore expansion. It's time you stopped playing house and started acting like a Malhotra." Something snapped inside Vikram. What if I don't want to act like a Malhotra? What if there's more to life than exploiting every opportunity for profit? His father studied him as if seeing a stranger. "This is exactly why I opposed this ridiculous marriage. She's changed you, and not for the better." "You're right about one thing," Vikram replied, standing. "She has changed me." Leaving his father's office, Vikram felt oddly liberated. For the first time, he'd spoken his mind without calculating the angles, without performing the role expected of him. It felt authentic. Over the next few months, Vikram found himself transformed by the simple rhythm of life with Amara. She approached every challenge with determined optimism, from budgeting their expenses to helping him launch a small consulting firm focused on transitioning businesses to sustainable models. When his credit cards were suddenly declined, his father's retaliation. Amara didn't panic or complain. Instead, she taught him to shop intelligently, to find joy in experiences rather than possessions, to value connection over consumption. "We don't need everything handed to us," she told him one night as they sat on their small balcony, watching the city lights. "Building something together, that's what makes it meaningful." For the first time in his privileged existence, Vikram understood what it meant to earn something, to work alongside someone toward shared goals. His consulting business slowly gained traction, clients responding to his newfound sincerity and Amara's practical wisdom. One evening, after landing their biggest client yet, Amara surprised him with a small celebration dinner. As she proudly described how she'd bargained for the ingredients to make his favorite dishes, Vikram felt overwhelmed by a realization. He loved her, truly, deeply loved her, not as part of some elaborate deception, but with genuine admiration and affection. The knowledge terrified him. This wasn't supposed to happen. The bet was meant to be a game, not a transformation. Yet here he was, a changed man, building a life he hadn't known he wanted with a woman who deserved far better than the lie that had brought them together. "What are you thinking about?" Amara asked, noticing his sudden silence. Vikram looked at her, really looked at her, and made a decision. "That I need to tell you something important. About us. About how we started." Before he could continue, his phone rang, Dhruv calling. He hesitated, then silenced it. "It can wait," he said, reaching for her hand. "Tonight is about us." The confession could wait until tomorrow. Tonight he wanted to savor what he'd found without destroying it just yet, but fate rarely accommodates such convenient timelines. Shattered illusions. The autumn rain pelted against the windows of their apartment as Amara organized financial projections for their growing consultancy. 6 months of marriage had settled into a comfortable routine, one that still surprised Vikram daily with its genuine contentment. He found himself looking forward to evenings at home more than the exclusive clubs and parties that had once defined his existence. Their phone rang, and Amara answered it absently, expecting a client call. "Vikram Malhotra's residence," she said professionally, then frowned. "Yes, this is his wife. No, he's not available at the moment. May I ask who's calling?" The silence that followed made Vikram look up from his laptop. "I see," Amara continued, her voice cooling. "And you're calling because—" "I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean by collecting on the wager." Vikram froze, his blood turning to ice. Dhruv. It had to be Dhruv. Drunk and careless, calling about the bet. What vintage cars? Amara's question confirmed his worst fear. "I think you'd better explain exactly what you're talking about." Lunging across the room, Vikram grabbed the phone. "Dhruv, I'll call you back." But the damage was done. Amara stood motionless, her face ashen, connecting pieces of a puzzle she'd never known existed. "Amara, I can explain. Was it true?" she asked, her voice unnervingly steady. "Was our marriage a bet?" The practiced lies that had once come so easily to him disappeared. In their place remained only the painful truth he'd been avoiding for months. "It started that way," he admitted, watching her expression shatter. "Dhruv bet me that I couldn't get you to marry me within 6 months. And you won." Her words fell like stones between them. "Congratulations." "It's not like that anymore." Vikram insisted, reaching for her, but she stepped back. "Yes, it began as something terrible, but everything changed. I changed. What I feel for you now is real." Amara looked at him with eyes that had lost their warmth. "How convenient that. You discovered your conscience after winning your prize. The cars don't matter." "Cars?" Her laugh was hollow. You traded my life, my trust, my future, for cars? The magnitude of his cruelty laid bare in her devastated expression crushed him. I was a different person then, and I was just a game. She moved methodically around their apartment, gathering essentials into a small bag. The perfect challenge, the scholarship girl, so grateful for attention from someone like you. Please, he begged, just listen. I love you. That part is real. Amara paused, studying him with painful clarity. You don't even know what love is, Vikram. Love doesn't begin with lies. It doesn't use people as stepping stones to prove something to your equally shallow friends. She slid her wedding ring off and placed it on the table between them. The truly sad thing is that I would have helped you become a better person if you'd simply asked. You didn't need to destroy me in the process. Where are you going? Panic rose in his throat as she moved toward the door. To rebuild the life your game derailed? Her hand on the doorknob, she turned back one last time. Don't try to find me. Whatever existed between us died tonight. The door closed with devastating finality, leaving Vikram alone with the hollow victory he'd once so eagerly pursued. Days became weeks as Vikram searched desperately for Amara. Her family refused his calls. Her friends blocked his number. She had disappeared completely, leaving only the growing awareness of exactly what he had lost. Dhruv appeared at his door one evening, apparently expecting their usual celebratory drink. Still moping? Come on, it was just a game. Something inside Vikram snapped. He grabbed Dhruv by his expensive shirt collar and shoved him against the wall. She wasn't a game. She was the best thing that ever happened to me, and your drunken call destroyed everything. Dhruv's smug expression faltered. You actually fell for her? That wasn't part of the plan? Get out! Vikram released him, suddenly exhausted. And don't come back. We're done. After Dhruv left, Vikram surveyed the empty apartment. Evidence of Amara still lingered everywhere. Her economics textbooks on the shelf, the throw pillows she'd carefully selected for their couch. The plant she nurtured daily. On the counter lay a notebook he hadn't noticed before. Opening it, he found Amara's familiar handwriting, business plans she'd been developing, ideas for expanding their consultancy, projections for the next 5 years, dreams they'd built together, all hollow now. On the final page, written after she must have learned the truth, were words that would haunt him for years to come. You didn't just bet on my heart, you wagered your own humanity. I hope someday you realize what you've truly lost. Vikram closed the notebook, a different man than the one who had so carelessly accepted a cruel bet in a rooftop bar. But his transformation had come too late. The vintage cars sat untouched in his garage, monuments to the greatest mistake of his life. Redemption's price. 5 years passed like a slow, necessary penance. Vikram transformed the small consultancy he and Amara had built into Ethical Horizons, a now respected firm specializing in transitioning corporations toward sustainable business practices. The work was meaningful, though the hollow space in his chest never quite filled. He'd sold the vintage cars, using the proceeds to establish a scholarship foundation for underprivileged students. His father had disowned him, a separation that brought unexpected relief rather than the anticipated pain. The old crowd, including Dhruv, had long since disappeared from his life, replaced by colleagues who valued integrity over influence. On a crisp autumn morning, Vikram reviewed the guest list for an upcoming sustainable business conference in Mumbai where he would be speaking. One name on the attendee list made his heart stop. Amara Sharma, founder and CEO, Women's Economic Empowerment Initiative. 5 years of searching, of sending unanswered apologies, of hearing fragments about her life through mutual connections. And now she would be in the same room with him. The conference hall buzzed with professionals from across India. Vikram, delivered his presentation on ethical business transitions mechanically, his attention divided, scanning the crowd for a face he'd never forgotten. He finally spotted her during the networking lunch, still beautiful, but different somehow. More confident, her posture straighter, her smile assured as she engaged with a circle of attentive listeners. No longer the quiet scholarship student, but a woman who commanded respect. When their eyes met across the room, Vikram felt the weight of everything between them. The lies, the love, the loss. He approached cautiously, giving her every opportunity to walk away. "Hello, Amara." She regarded him with composed neutrality. "Vikram, I saw your presentation. Impressive work." "Thank you. I had an excellent teacher." The words hung between them, laden with unspoken meaning. An uncomfortable silence followed before Amara spoke again. "Your foundation has helped many students. My organization has partnered with several of your scholarship recipients." "I didn't know that," he admitted. "Though I'm not surprised. You always had a gift for helping others succeed." A small flicker of something, not forgiveness, perhaps understanding, crossed her face. "Some lessons take longer to learn than others. The hardest ones usually do." Vikram hesitated, then asked the question that had haunted him for years. "Are you happy, Amara?" Her expression softened slightly. "I am. My work fulfills me. I married again 2 years ago. Nikhil is a professor of environmental law. We met through a mutual project." Each word landed like a gentle blow, necessary but painful. Vikram nodded, swallowing the ache in his throat. "You deserve every happiness." "And you?" she asked, genuine curiosity in her voice. "Have you found what you were looking for?" "I found purpose," he answered honestly. "But I lost the chance at joy the day you walked away. Though I can't blame anyone but myself for that." Amara studied him, seeing perhaps the changes time and regret had carved into him. "The man I see today, this version of you, is someone I might have genuinely loved. That's both the kindest and most painful thing you could have said," Vikram replied, attempting a smile. As attendees began returning to their seats for the afternoon session, Amara reached into her bag and withdrew a familiar notebook, the same one she'd left behind 5 years ago. "I think it's time you had this back." Vikram accepted it with trembling hands. "I don't understand." "Open it," she instructed gently. Inside, past her old business projections and the painful final entry he remembered, she had written a new message dated the previous day. "Forgiveness doesn't rewrite the past, but it can transform the future. Your redemption isn't measured by my absolution, but by the lives you've chosen to improve since that night. I forgive you, Vikram. Not for you, but for me. Now forgive yourself and continue becoming the man you could have been all along." Emotion threatened to overwhelm him. "Thank you," he managed, his voice unsteady. "I should return to my table," Amara said, her professional demeanor returning. "My organization is presenting next. Perhaps we could discuss potential collaboration between your foundation and my initiative sometime." "I'd like that," Vikram replied, recognizing the offer for what it was. Not a return to what had been lost, but a careful new beginning of a different kind. As he watched her walk away, Vikram understood that some debts can never be fully repaid, some wounds never completely healed. Yet in that incomplete healing lay the most important lesson. Genuine transformation isn't about erasing past mistakes, but about ensuring they shape a better future. Later that evening, alone in his hotel room, Vikram opened the notebook again, turning to the final page where Amara's forgiveness lay written in her familiar script. Below it, he wrote his response, not for her eyes, but as a covenant with himself. The wager that began as my greatest shame became my greatest teacher. Some prices are too high to pay, some lessons too valuable to forget. I promise to live each day earning the forgiveness you've granted, knowing that the true bet was always with myself, whether I could become someone worthy of the love I so carelessly threw away. Outside his window, Mumbai's lights twinkled, like distant possibilities. Not the life he'd once planned, but perhaps the one he needed, marked by purpose, shaped by regret, and finally touched by the grace of forgiveness.